Did you know that North Texas is home to 7.5 million people and is made up of 150 cities, including Dallas and Fort Worth? If you're considering a move to North Texas, this could feel overwhelming and confusing. But don't worry, I'm here to help. In this video, I'll break down this expansive metroplex and highlight the key differences between these areas. I will dive into the different regions, major cities, transportation, and attractions in North Texas. My goal is to answer all your questions and help you narrow down the spots that you might want to consider if you are moving here to North Texas. Also, stick around until the end to hear my thoughts on the fastest growing city in North Texas. Alright, before I start the breakdown, I'd like to acknowledge that North Texas is a super large area. And while I will do my best to cover the key parts, I know I most likely will miss some places and cities, so feel free to drop a comment down below of any additional cities or areas that you think are important. However, being born and raised in North Texas, I feel like I know the area pretty well, but even I have come across areas I have never been to or even heard of. So please understand that this is my personal way of explaining the North Texas area to any newcomers. That being said, let's dive right in. I like to break down North Texas into two sections, the Dallas side and the Fort Worth side. I like to do this because most people orient themselves and places from these two major cities. For example, people will say, oh, this is 10 minutes north of Dallas, or this is 30 minutes east of Fort Worth, and so on. So let's start with the larger of the two major cities, Dallas. Dallas alone has 1.3 million residents, which accounts for over 17% of the entire North Texas population. Moving clockwise from the north of Dallas, the major cities of note are Denton, Louisville, Flower Mound, Carrollton, Frisco, Plano, Allen, McKinney, Richardson, Garland, Mesquite, Rowlett, Grand Prairie, Mansfield, Arlington, and Irving. I chose these 16 cities because they have the highest populations and are home to some of the most major corporations and attractions. Now that we know the major cities, I want to highlight the major transportation and roads that are commonly referred to when finding directions around the Dallas area. In terms of public transportation, there are train lines called the DART, Dallas Area Rapid Transit, and the DCTA, Denton County Transit Authority, as well as buses that go all over the cities from DART and DCTA. I will link a website below that shows the DART and the DCTA schedules if you'd like to know more about those services. Now, the major roads are also a key factor because the majority of people who live here transit via car. If you're not used to driving 30 minutes to get somewhere, then you will need to adjust or just don't move here. It is extremely normal to drive 30 to 45 minutes to get anywhere. Starting with the major road that goes north and south, there is 35E, 45, and 75. Going east and west, there is I-30, I-20, 635, and 121. Toll roads such as the Dallas North Tollway, the DNT, and the President George Bush Tollway, PGBT, are common and can be worth paying the extra money to beat traffic. Now that we know how to get around the Dallas area, let me tell you some major attractions and places that you most likely will be traveling to. Starting again up north, you have Denton, which is home to colleges University of North Texas, UNT, and Texas Women's University, TWU. The Plano and Frisco areas are home to many companies' headquarters such as Ericsson, FedEx, PepsiCo, and Toyota, to name a few. There are some really fun sport teams to visit in Frisco, and that is the local baseball team, the Rough Riders, and the soccer team, FC Dallas. Along with those teams, there is the Dallas Cowboy Training Center in Frisco, and that's also really fun to go visit. Let's go over to Arlington, which is what I call the entertainment capital of North Texas. because there's so much to do in Arlington. First off, you have Six Flags Over Texas, which is an amusement park with a bunch of roller coasters and attractions in and of itself. And then you have the AT&T Stadium, which basically is the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. But it also hosts a ton of different events, ranging from motocross to rodeos to a bunch of different things that you can go to at the AT&T Stadium. And then across from the AT&T Stadium is the Rangers Stadium, which is the Texas Rangers baseball team. So I really like going there. They just redid the Texas Rangers Stadium, and it is large and it's all indoors, which is cool. So rain or shine, you can always go to a baseball game. Now that we have covered Dallas, let's move on to the Fort Worth side. Sitting at under 1 million, the city alone is home to 956,709 people, with many others living in the surrounding suburbs. While Dallas may have more people, Fort Worth is technically larger in terms of square miles, and personally, you can tell. I feel that Fort Worth is not as dense as Dallas and has definitely more of a laid-back kind of feel compared to the Dallas hustle and bustle of the corporate ladder chasers. So the overview of the Fort Worth side is going to be the same way I did the Dallas. So let's start with the major cities surrounding Fort Worth. You have Justin, Argyle, Roanoke, Keller, North Richland Hills, Crowley, Weatherford, and Saginaw. Now, I did not mention 3 cities that are also very popular because they have their own, nickname or subsection called the HEB area, which stands for 3 cities known as Hearst, Euless, and Bedford. You will hear the term HEB, and that is the area it's describing. So little, local known fact, the HEB stands for Hearst, Euless, and Bedford. Now that we know the major cities, let's learn how to get from one to the other. Well, the main public transport in Fort Worth area is the Trinity Metro, aka the Texas Rail. And the only road that runs north and south that I think you should be aware of is 35W. Now, don't get this confused with 35E, like we talked about over on the Dallas side, because they're completely different roads. Obviously, 35E is on the east side of Dallas, and 35W is on the west side of Fort Worth. So those 2 roads will get you completely different places. Do not get them confused. Now you have more roads that go east and west for people who are trying to get over to Dallas from Fort Worth. You have I-30, 121, and 820. Now, there is lots to do on this side of the DFW Metroplex. I will state that most of the things will be in the city of Fort Worth, while the surrounding cities are mostly just suburbs and do not have too many attractions. Fort Worth has the famous Stockyards, which has a rich history and is so much fun to go to. In early February, there's a Stockyard Rodeo, which is definitely worth a visit. Fort Worth is home to popular schools such as TCU, Texas Christian University, which has many sporting events to attend. There are also many museums and cultural buildings close to the Stockyards in the cultural district as well. So now that you are at the end of the video, as promised, here's my opinion on the next up-and-coming city in North Texas. It is Forney. Forney, Texas is a rapidly growing city with high school district ratings and affordable housing. I've been seeing lots of people move here, and I do not see it slowing down anytime soon. Now that you're familiar with the North Texas and DFW metropolitan area, you may also be interested in my next video, which explores the North Texas education options. I'll be going over school ratings and more. If you think school ratings are important for education, then you may want to hear my bold claim on how I don't think they really matter and why. I will walk you through the highest rated schools and share with you alternative schooling available in North Texas so you can make an informed decision on your family's future. If you want to learn more about North Texas and the surrounding areas, or have any questions, feel free to contact me and Grant. We're a team at Holistic Home Group at Worth Clark Realty, and you guys are free to contact me anytime. Here's my contact information, and I will look forward to serving you in my community soon. Have a lovely day.